Well, the YouTube Deficit here doing another episode of an unsolved mystery case from the show Unsolved Mystery that used to have Robert Stack. Boy, getting back into these things and listening to the music they used to play, and Robert Stack's voice used to rumble through your brain. Awesome. Couldn't ask for a better TV show. Too bad the man passed away. But anyways, this is of course, very, very bizarre case. And eventually the guy's body, some bone fragments and skull was found. But how he got that way is a very intriguing story. And I don't know, man, this one's just a weird one. He did happen to get caught up in the drug scene. Wasn't a good sight for this kid. No, it was in the time, the mother says in the show, and around that time, that's right, back then, man, you screw up, you're doing, nonsense in the house, you get the tough love is right. And she said, you either straighten up or get out. And of course, she regrets it every day. And I mean, sometimes it is regretting, because when you kick someone out in the most vulnerable state, I mean, regardless of not how bad they are on drugs. I mean, if they're on drugs and they're no turning back, and you do know that. And when they are doing, I don't think the kid was stealing. Didn't mention nothing about stealing, so that's a good thing. Just to get his next high, and wasn't, being violent towards his parents. He just couldn't, handle the situation, and I would say if anybody gonna go beat up and steal from their parents, that's a recognition to get the hell out. That right there, man, don't fly. But the way, this kid was, and he looks like a humble kid, I think he was just right, caught up so bad in it that he just didn't know how to get out of it. But, the reenactment says it all. He had a girlfriend, and, he was, seemed to be loyal to the girl. Wasn't, violent or beating her up. They didn't say nothing about that either, so. He was just obviously a kid that got caught up in the wrong situations. And one day just snapped. Getting kicked out of his mother's house probably finished him off. And when you're in that type of stage of use, and all you do need is that extra help to get out of it. There shouldn't be no repercussion, that's what I want to say, of getting you tossed out on the street. You have to keep doing, the right thing to get the treatment. But when you're in this predicament as this kid, I'm sure depression kicks in, and oh great, what am I gonna do? And it's sad to say, and to even think you gotta do that to your kid. If they're helpable, throwing them out is a bit extreme, because this kid could have had a learning disability or something. Let alone he could have, reason why, and it was just pain medication too, mind you. That's what it was, pain medication. I mean, yeah, it's like, it would be just the same as saying opioids today. But back then, I don't think they were just that severe enough to make you OD on them, but it was pain medication and anything. Maybe something else, who knows, but the mother found pain pills in the room, so that says anything. I mean, it wasn't nothing, probably no hardcore, because if you get into them hardcore drugs, yeah, you are stealing. You don't care from who. You know, you're stabbing people in the back just to get that shit. And, right, it ain't nice. It ain't nice. It ain't nice. But this kid, I mean, he had a slight problem, and, you know, they kicked him out. Now, he was with his girlfriend at the time, and I'm sure they would have figured something out, or let alone she could have maybe helped him, but I don't know, they were arguing about something at a gas station, and he left her at the friggin' gas station. I mean, alright, it wasn't like he was beating her up or anything, but he said, go to my parents' house. Tell him I'll be back in a couple hours. Now, whether or not he needed a little time alone to think about what he was going to do, right? Because, you know, getting kicked out and got no place to go, and you're still, you know, and he did go to a drug rehab. He just got out and everything, but maybe he was just now starting a little bit to kick back onto the, you know, how that works, but. So anyways, he took off, and 2 hours went by, and, you know, heard nothing. So, of course, his father and mother called the police. And mind you, and this is where it gets sinister. Now, it's unknown, right, you know, what this kid really was doing. It wasn't even known if he owed somebody something. But the real sinister turn in this is that the car was found, you know, 2 hours after he went missing. So, I mean, it got dumped off, 2 flat tires, and a police officer found the vehicle and had it towed. Now, within that time frame of, you know, the 2 hours and the car being found, they never once reported it, you know, running the plates, or as some states call it, running the tags, to verify they had the car. It literally sat 90 days in an impound yard until someone found it. And not only that, the chief of police at the time stated that, you know, they were going to send the letter, and for some reason the officer that found the car wouldn't sign the paper. He would not sign that paper to say, you know, I'm Officer so-and-so, I found the car, it's at this impound yard. And what the chief of police did was made another person sign the paper, and then put it on file. So when they did get it and everything, you know, everything was out of sort. And not only that, the chief of police was removed from being chief of police, but then yet reinstated. So it's like, what the So obviously something crooked going on in this town. Now, whether or not this kid saw something go down, got chased, got his tires shot out, kidnapped and killed, well, that's the question. And why in the hell of the world would, the police cover this crap up? Sinister things. So after so many years, his body was found on like a remote, some side of the hill, I think. And his skull was found plus bone, and it was identified. But still, what was the cause of death? I don't even know if they had any. They didn't mention nothing of no blunt force trauma or who knows, man. But it's like, wow, you just gotta sit here and really think, what goes on. And this is what makes, the law enforcement look shady. I mean, if you could just imagine, you're sitting there and you get your information from the law enforcement 3 months later, or let alone, any information on, your son having any witnesses being seen where the car was found. Yeah, that's just as shady as a friggin', kid standing there at the candy store, turning his head left and right all around, and, is anybody watching me? Simple as that. It was simple as that. And it's just baffling how stuff like this happens. Covered up this death. As you can see, a father's search leads him to believe the local police department covered up. Now what it was too that I believe the car was found in another, jurisdiction. So when the car was found and then it was reported in that county, the county didn't get back to, the family. And this was April 2nd, 1998. Oh, this was the search. Steep bluff overlooking the Monongahela River, just south of Pittsburgh and Baldwinboro, Pennsylvania. Here's the car being towed. So I mean, and there's a bone that was found. There was money in his bank account. His clothes were in his closet. And if he was going anywhere, he would have said it to us. So I mean, there is something sinister right there, because if this wasn't a robbery and his bank account wasn't, wiped out, it's like, right, what really happened? Now, I mean, my thoughts, theories, idea on this case is that he might have stumbled upon something, or he might have owed somebody money. I mean, whatever the case may be, he definitely was caught up in the wrong situation. And, I mean, one couldn't imagine, and that's the thing, man, like I say, what if this kid, just didn't have all his head there. And that's a big thing about mental health. If mental health ain't treated or looked at properly, which I am guaranteeing this kid was not looked at properly. You know, there's a lot of stuff that can happen to one person, especially be vulnerable and trust somebody. I trust you, but you don't, because why? You can end up dead. So I mean, there's more to this case that was not looked into. Of course, the police probably, and who knows if they reopened it, but they probably are, I think they were saying he could have, maybe he went and started a new life. I mean, what any person gonna go start a new life with no goddamn money? You let alone you got money saved, you take that money because you're gonna need it to start that life. So I mean, all in all, you can just imagine. Bear with me, I gotta pause a moment. So all in all, this is a case that definitely remains a mystery, and that crooked law enforcement that likes to just put a damper into people's lives. Whatever he stumbled upon is the question. But nothing further is said, and like I was trying to say, that obviously nothing further will come out of this. I mean, the father did have to hire a private investigator. So I'm sure the police department is at ends with this case and probably won't even open back up and search it themselves. But whatever the case may be, finding out who was on that other side of the wall looking in is what the question is. This reminds me of a case, not a case, lyrics to a song of the mighty Black Sabbath with Ronnie James Dio. And I quote, "The more that you look for the meaning..." Wait a minute. Shoot. The more that you look... the closer you get to the meaning. The closer you get to the meaning, the sooner you realize you're dreaming. Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about when you try to get to the meaning of life, cases, and then all of a sudden, that's right, the sooner you find out you're dreaming. That's what it reminds, all these mystery cases remind me of them lyrics. So till that next video, be safe, take care, and hopefully one day this case will have closure. Out.